Hey guys, I've just finished my run of short-form videos on Poo World 2. This video that we're watching now is going to be a compilation of clears from each level and my commentary on it. Thanks for watching. This has been one of my longest video making projects I've ever completed, and let's go ahead and get started. This level is called Marathon. It's the first level from Poo World 2. This has a lot of really tight jumps in it that you really need to have a strong control over Mario's falling speed to actually make work. We're gonna see this a couple times. When that numbered platform was falling, I was able to land on it because Mario sticks automatically to any platform that his feet touch while he's moving downwards. Not today! Alright. I'm extremely happy just to have gotten that checkpoint. That is definitely not what I want. One thing that's always stuck out to me about the second half of this level are the winged platforms. The walls and munchers around them make for some really interesting jumps. I need to kick this blue Koopa out to the left, and then jump off the shell that he kicks at me. After I start this numbered platform moving, I have to catch back up to it. And there's one more shell coming at me. Alright. I'm definitely going to change controllers though. This is level 2 of Poo World 2. It's called Laser Lifts, and one of the main features is this brown platform that comes with me through the entire level. This platform is jumping off of the line-guided tracks, and lands on a block type that we call 1F0 at the bottom. That preserves its horizontal speed without allowing it to fall any further. I generally need to jump off of this platform as it is at its highest point, as well as moving as fast as I can to the right, just to keep up with it. So I'm not going to show it in this video, but there's a hidden block that makes the jump over this muncher very awkward. Hey, in the pipe! This is another section where I have to follow the brown platform down to the bottom. It's going to help me out in a couple different ways as I go through. I need a lot of distance off of this shell, so I throw it back to the right and do 2 bounces off of it. I can line myself up on the right side of the wall under this muncher, and then follow the coins as the platform falls. We're going to hear some silly text-to-speech from my Twitch chat, so I'll explain I have to do a leap of faith where I jump off of the platform, come back to it, and then make one final jump to the right side.
We've got great prices on Dyson, Westinghouse, Polar, Lasco, Honeywell and Comfort Zone, in a range of varieties like tabletop, oscillating, standing and ceiling. So come on down to OnlyFans, because we've got what you need when you're hot and wet.
Yeah, thanks. One last kaizo block. Because they just allow no way of adjusting it. They basically say, oh, well, your TV should let you do that. And if my TV is bad enough to have overscan problems, don't you think that there might be a possibility that it might not have a way to adjust it? But anyway. Yes! Alright. This is the second half of Riptide Slide. The water is automatically pushing me to the right, but I can swim or walk against it to slow down a little bit and keep from hitting the munchers. I need to be as fast as possible to stay ahead of the bullet bills. This fish gate is by far the hardest part of the level. You need to wait for the right time to have a small gap in between the fish, and you need to swim through it very fast. As soon as I hit this P-switch, I have a timer that I have to race to the end of the level. I need to maintain my speed through the water while dodging urchins and fish. I can't just hold right while I'm in the water. I have to let go of the D-pad and then start pressing right after I jump out of the water. Yes! We're not very far in, but for me, this has been the hardest level of the game so far. See, that wasn't so hard. Oh my goodness. This level is Karadras. The ground is slippery here, but it actually works to my advantage because I need to keep the mushroom the entire way, and I have to slide underneath these munchers while ducking. If I slow down too much, the rock would hit me, or Charging Chuck would get rid of the blocks before I could jump off of them. Mario can kill just about anything while he's in his slide animation, and he just keeps sliding so long as you don't press jump left or right. I have to spin through every one of these turn blocks to give that rock enough time to come out, and then there's no time to spare on this damage boost over the munchers.
Yes!
This is the second half of Karadros. I needed to grab and then keep this mushroom, which means a lot of duck sliding underneath munchers as I'm on these platforms. I keep speed here and run past the falling rocks up the wall, and then spin across the turn blocks to keep my mushroom up to these munchers. I actually took damage just a little early and barely made it to the second mushroom. I have to get right back off of these munchers as fast as I can. I just barely stay out of the lava here with the flying block, and this is going to be the most scuffed shell jump ever.
Ah!
At this point, the only thing that can stop me are the rocks, and there's a lot of them.
No! Alright, let's try this again.
It's legitimate
Hey, orb.
It's all-
I'm gonna let the fish go. And then I'm just gonna swim behind them. I should have plenty of time. Three seconds. And that would be checkpoint from loading ready run. Because theirs is a comedy news show, but they also try really hard to be factually correct about everything. Hammers? Oh my god, yes. I don't know if the right plan is to try to swim up or to try to throw that early. Because holding on to that and swimming up is going to be very difficult. I've done it once, but still. That was interesting. In the pipe. You, as Mario, are scrimping and saving every single power moon you come across to be able to defeat Bowser, who has caused all these problems through all the kingdoms. And suddenly you come to this power plant where they have an unlimited supply of power moons and they don't have any to spare for you. Oh my god, you can make it.
This is Mountain Moon. These caves are a section of 4 rooms in a row that have no midways in between them. These bats, the swoopers, start coming at you automatically when you get close enough to them horizontally. There were 3 swoopers that started flying to the right as soon as I came into this room. I used 2 of them to get down here, activated 3 more flying to the left, and then used the last one from the beginning. I have to fall down from the pipe onto that shell It gets kicked by the blue Koopa, and then I'm racing it the entire way across. I'm gonna jump all the way to the wall here, and then I barely make it onto the corner. The purple swoopers that are up on the ceiling, they spawn in infinitely, and I can't jump on them to kill them. They're actually ghosts that have been reskinned to look like swoopers. Once I get over to this Galumba, I need to stop and walk back to the left, avoiding the swoopers.
There's a technique where you can jump on that Goomba, but it's frame perfect, so I'd rather not do it.
This is part 2 of Mount Moon.
The first time, shave it off live.
This section is all about riding on these skulls, the lava lifts. Normally with these skull rafts, you've got 4 skulls that are all stuck together, but here we've got 2 that are separated. I need to swap back and forth between riding on the front and the back, because we need to avoid things like the piranha plant and the blarg.
That blarg took forever to come out.
One thing about the lava lifts, you don't normally see them just falling through the air, but when they do, they kind of grab onto you if you try to jump on them. So as we go through this pipe, things speed up just a little bit. I need to keep up with this new raft, which moves faster than Mario's normal running speed. I really shouldn't be spin jumping over these fireballs. It lets me bounce off of them, but it's way safer to just go over top. Once I get to these coins, I can build up P-speed, which lets me run faster than the skull raft. I have to touch the orb from the right side so that Mario falls down and lands on the raft. If I touch the lava, I'd die. This is Toasty Coals. The lava is cycling up and down automatically. It'll kill me if I touch it. I sink automatically into this black quicksand. I can jump out of it, but I have to work my way back up to the top first. If I let the quicksand take me too low, I hit the death blocks in the bottom, but I need to use it to go underneath this blarg. I have Baby Yoshi in my hand now, and I'm just throwing him up to kill time as I'm waiting for the lava to go back down. There's a glitch where if Baby Yoshi eats objects at the proper pace, it counts as double eating. I double eat twice here with these 3 bats to feed Baby Yoshi 5 times. Now I'm riding adult Yoshi and I can stand on these spikes safely. I need to build up P-speed here so I can throw Yoshi through the blocks and then land on him on the other side. And then I must not follow the coin trail in order to get that midway. This is part 2 of Toasty Coals. This is an auto-scroller. The level is basically sinking down into the lava. We've got some tight jumps through these spikes, and then I have to ride on top of these 2 saws right here. And I have to dodge around this next saw to get a spring, which takes me into the yellow watery area. While Mario is in this yellow liquid, the left and right directions on my D-pad are reversed. There's a lot of muscle memory working against me in that part where I'm swimming. At this point, I've made it up here a few times, so I know where I'm at even though I'm off screen. It's good that I was a little ahead because I missed a couple of my jumps here.
You guys, I almost did a swear. Oh, jeez.
This is Yacht Club Castle. It looks like it's underwater. We're gonna see some fish, urchins, and dolphins, but I don't swim through here. I just have really low gravity to jump with. I'm spinning down here. I'm gonna land on some rip fan fish. I wanna be careful to only wake them up one at a time, because as soon as they woke up, they started falling down, and I only got 1 bounce off of them. Right after I jump off the spring, I come really close to the spike.
I'm real close to that spike.
There's a dolphin falling here, and I'm trying to use him to get in the door.
Oh, in the door!
Yes, thank you. And here is a Dupu skills moment from before it was cool. This is the boss fight from Yacht Club Castle. The Boo boss is going to take 4 hits to destroy, and while I'm hitting him, I also have to dodge the Boo stream. There's normally intended to only be 4 blocks to hit him with, but at the very beginning of the fight, I grabbed a block from past the left edge of the level. It doesn't do much to speed up the fight, but it gives me an extra hit in case I miss with one of the blocks. This Big Boo boss fight works a little differently than the normal boss fight does. He actually can hurt me as he's flying around, but only when he's fully visible.
Too late. Spin. In the pipe. Oh my god. Whew. Alright. Well, let's go see a fancy hat. Oh my god. There's not really any regrabbing that happens there. Hey, there we go. Yes. Okay. So there's trolls here. If I had moved left to try to avoid this pokey, would have been dead. Oh my god. That took a very long time.
This is Sunset Breeze. This level is filled with fans, either on the ground or in the ceiling, and they push me away from them. The ones that are pushing me up, I can hold down on the D-pad, and that lets me fall against them. But I can only do small jumps against the ones that are pushing me down. I have to be spinning here. There's some spinies and a piranha plant that I have to bounce off of. And once I get over here to the end, I'm doing some spin jumps to buffer the timing to get onto that falling spiny. You keep some of your momentum as you grab a balloon, so I go up really fast to get in the pipe. This is an auto-scroller. I can be at the back of the screen with an auto-scroller, which is useful because Thwomps check if Mario is near them, and that wraps around the screen border. This part here looks a little easier than it actually is because there's some kaizo blocks that prevent me from taking the most straightforward path through there. In these sections where the fans are pushing me up, I can decrease my height by tapping down on the D-pad. Now these fans up here on the ceiling are pushing me down, which means I can only run under the thwimps. I can't jump over them at all. Now I've been here several times before. I'm getting myself situated so I can watch the timing of the saws. And then once I'm ready to make my move, I'm finally going to get over past the saws and into the pipe, and we're going to keep going over to the right because this is Sen's Fortress. All of the ropes that we see in this level are special. If I move too fast while I'm on the rope, I'll fall right through it. For the most part, it really does a good job of forcing you to do that first section in a certain way. This jump here has a hidden block on the right side, so I need to hug the left wall next to that spike. This shell that falls is really hard to deal with, just because I have to throw it earlier than I would for a regular shell jump. I need to get onto this disco shell basically immediately and ride it over to the right. If I'm too slow, the platform won't be there for me to fall onto it between the gap and the saws.
And there's the checkpoint.
This is part 2 of Sen's Fortress. Now again, all the ropes in this level are fast ropes. That means if I move too quickly, I'll fall through them. The green Magic Koopa that we see here always stays in the same spot, and he'll constantly try to shoot magic at me. I need to spin and bounce off of the magic. I'm holding down the jump button and just tapping the run button so I can move a little faster on this rope without falling through. These ball and chains that we have here, they're kind of scary, but it's really not that bad to transfer between them. Here's our last Magic Koopa Magic Ride. I'm intentionally falling through this rope. I'm only going to have one shot to get in that door.
In the door, easy peasy.
This is the most overpowered Charge and Chuck you'll ever see. We have a couple fun names for him, either Cluster Chuck or Charge and Chuck Norris. My goal here is to jump on him 10 times, and he's got a bunch of different attacks he's going to try and hit me with. I just hit him the 6th time, That makes him start whistling for these Super Koopas, who are going to continue to come out of the sides of the screen until I hit him the 10th time. After 10 hits, I really want to get up to the top right. 10. Yes! What a lucky bounce. After the 10th hit, he goes into the second phase where he's just trying to get as close to you as possible. And he explodes at the end, but he can't hurt you if you're in the top right. That's a cool way to end that fight. This is the secret exit of Deuce Lair. This borrows the horizontal screen wrap from some levels in Super Mario Bros. 3. So what I'm doing with this shell, I throw it up in the air and then spin jump to catch it. I need to spin on the saw to make it onto the small pipe on the left side of the screen, and Mario is unable to spin jump as he's holding an item. That's the reason why you'll see players throw items up in the air like that. The numbered platforms count down and then they fall after the number reaches 0, so I only have one chance to make these jumps. There's a pretty nasty kaizo block right above that winged platform. We don't actually see it here because I jump really wide of that platform. And we just have another section where I'm using the numbered blocks. I just can't slow down as I'm making my way up. I hesitate at the end to make sure I can get in the pipe. Hey, in the pipe. This is Pooh's Laughter House. I wait just a tiny bit here to get these swims to line up, and then this jump off of a thwomp is still one of the hardest tricks for me. We have a couple special Mecha Koopas. The blue one is constantly bouncing up and down, and he wakes up about 2 seconds after I jump on him. That green Magic Koopa sits in place and just fires his magic at me. I need to keep this disco shell alive, so as soon as I see the second one, I have to spin jump on it. I messed up a little with the second thwomp, but I'm allowed to slow down and wait for it to go back up. As we get over here, there's a helpful warning sign that there's something underneath the checkpoint.
Get that checkpoint. Oh yeah, so what I was saying, this Mecha Koopa here, his purpose is so that you don't feel like you're having to wait for this winged block for as long as you actually are. Because you're messing with him while you've got the winged platform loaded in mostly off screen. So it doesn't feel like you're having to wait on it. In that pipe. Did not want to get fished. I don't know where this has to be. Oh no. Oh, never mind, I got it.
This is Deuce Lair. This is a level where you pretty much have to move at full speed in order to be able to beat it. I just hit an on-off switch with that throw block. What that does is it makes the brown sewer lava start rising from the bottom. Here we've got just a small swimming section. I need to carry the block through here with me, which makes Mario swim forward automatically as he's carrying it. I had to hit the on-off switch again to raise the water back up, and then break through the turn blocks. You have just the smallest bit of leeway as you touch lava, where the top tile doesn't actually kill you immediately. Riding the brown dolphin soft locks you.
Not today, dolphin.
This is the second half of Deuce Lair. We're gonna have a few different things cycling up and down. We start out with water for me to swim in, and then there's this brown sewer lava. The very top tile of lava just acts like water, so it's okay for me to touch it. We're gonna see a couple different color shells in here. I just used the red one to do a shell jump, and when we see a green shell, we usually know that those are double bounce shells, so the first time it gets thrown, I can bounce off of it twice. You can really only go so fast through this section, because you have to wait for the water to come up above those munchers. But then you're in a huge hurry to get across these tiny pipes, so that you get to the end with enough time to jump up to get
In the pipe!
If you're too slow to get into that up pipe on the first try, there's a shell that drops down so you can shell jump up there.
Alright.
We were talking about tying world records in Super Mario Maker.
I think that's really funny when that happens when you're just playing a level casually, like during endless mode. And like it's not something that you're guaranteed to match with, like an auto scroller or a speed run. Oh my god! I did not have a clue that that block was there. I'm pretty sure that's like the last jump. Once Yoshi grows up and I'm able to land on his back.
I'm gonna need Yoshi for one jump at the very end of the level. And the only things that are edible in this section are mushrooms and poison mushrooms. Eating one mushroom would cause Yoshi to grow up instantly, and I need him to grow up at the end of the level. So instead, I have to feed him 5 poison mushrooms. I can stand on the edge of these Lakitu dolphins next to walls. And we're gonna get some more text-to-speech from my Twitch chat.
Previously on Germdov, he found himself in a nightmare of a level that took him nearly 4 hours to escape. He woke up today and decided to reward himself with, you guessed it, more nightmare fuel levels. He just doesn't learn. Hugbees.
This is one of the hardest door entries I've ever done in Super Mario World. The disco shell is trying to home in on me, and I need to get it out of the way before I can go in the door. We're going back to the beginning of the level to show how I got there. There's sort of a coin trail to help me get down here, but a lot of that fall in the beginning is just memory. In Super Mario World, you can't grab onto a net while you're holding an item, but if an item falls onto you while you're already holding the net, you get it in your hands. After this quick shell jump, I fall down and get to a chuck. I need this chuck to fall down so I can bounce off of him later. This blue shell needs to stop hanging off the left side of those spikes so I can grab it safely. Anytime a yellow Koopa gets into any color shell, it turns immediately into a disco shell. I need to use this disco shell to get the turn block out of the way, and then sneak past the disco shell to get down here. We can bounce on the shell that falls, and that takes us back over to here. This is one of the hardest door entries I've ever done in Super Mario World. The disco shell is trying to home in on me, and I need to get it out of the way before I can go in the door.
Hey, in that door.
This is the boss of Weathertop. So this is an auto-scroller, and I have to hit the Big Boo 3 times as we're climbing up this tower here. Now there's actually hidden spikes just off screen above and below the screen, so I can't go any faster than what the auto-scroller is allowing me to do. Like most Big Boos, touching him does not hurt me. It's only the boo ring around him that hurts me if I touch it. The Big Boo flies in a set pattern, so the webs here are placed kind of in just the right spot to be able to make it work.
Sure.
We're not going to see it, but there is a kaizo block on that last platform. And the boo ring is still active as he falls.
Got it. All right. The spike jumps are really the only thing that's difficult inside here. And I spent enough time thinking about them that they should be coming naturally to me now.
This is Hanzo Castle. This is reverse water. I have to hold left to swim right. And all of the spikes that you see are floor, and all the floor is dangerous to stand on.
There we go. All right, and this first door that I can see is not real. It's just a coin. And I got the hidden door. I'm gonna have to throw that while it's extended. I just don't trust myself with doing a spring drop in SMW, because I don't understand how the spring momentum works. It like takes you to a complete halt.
This is part 3 of Hanzo Castle. We have a couple special kinds of blocks here. The vertical columns are wall jump blocks. So if I'm touching the side of them and press the jump button, I bounce off of them. And the blue ceilings are sticky ceilings. As long as I hold the jump button after I touch them, I stick to them and I can drop at will. I had to duck under this shell here, and you need just the right speed to catch it.
All right. There's a troll there.
If you wait too long, the ceiling comes down and kills you. The 1-up is just there to make you hesitate.
I'm standing there on the edge with my back to them, trying to get them to come at me, and they just refuse to.
This is the normal exit from Weathertop. And even though this section only took me half an hour, It was one of the most frustrating levels for me in the game. I was complaining about the start of the level because you have to bounce off of those boos and I couldn't get them to line up the way I wanted them to. So most of my attempts were getting stopped on the third jump of the section. I don't have enough invincibility frames to be able to touch those last munchers, so we just go over them. You need to get through that boo ring quick, and then the first midway is fake, the second one is real and has a really fast boo ring.
Good enough for me.
This is Weathertop. I wait here in the middle of these boo rings for a specific lineup, and I didn't have to punch the red Koopa, but it made the lineup easier for me. My only strategy here is to be fast and move forward. These note blocks aren't free, I have to control my jumps. And this is a reskinned fishing boo. One fishing boo is incredibly dangerous by himself. If you put 4 of them together, I don't know what I would do. I had to turn back to get the boo blocks out of the way. Now going through this pipe is not a midway, so if I die in here I have to start all the way over. I just hit that P-switch as it was falling, and it actually needs to stay active through the rest of the room, so I'm on a strict timer and I need to be running to the right as fast as possible.
There's too many!
This is Danger Zone. Compared to the rest of the levels that are around it, this one is actually fairly easy and a good change of pace. Pretty much everything that isn't a rope will kill you if you touch it. After you grab a rope, it starts traveling along the line-guided path that it's on, and once it leaves the path, it either jumps or it starts to fall pretty fast. You can jump off of a rope and re-grab it in midair, and you don't have very much time to hold on to these ropes. The actual midway is not between the posts, it's in the middle of all those saws. I'm just waiting for the right opening to be able to jump in there. And I got it. This level is Danger Zone.
But I think my failure is actually coming earlier than that part where I'm actually dying. Like up here.
I really enjoy how this level makes you reuse ropes. One had been following me from the start of the section. And then this big rope here I'm going to use at the very end. It's always there as I'm jumping off all the rest of this stuff, waiting for me to catch up to it. I just have to stay on this rope and sneak in between the saws.
Got it!
This is House of the Undying. We are going to use throw blocks just about every way they can be used in this level. In vanilla Super Mario World, I'm actually not sure if there are any throw blocks in the same level as the blue Koopas, but when they see a throw block in front of them, they just have to kick them. Once the throw block has been kicked, you can spin jump off of it, and they also lose their timer that tells them to disappear after a certain amount of time. I need P speed and a lineup with the block.
Perfect.
And I've got one shot at the door.
Yes! In the door!
This is House of the Undying. You're gonna see me throw the blocks up in the air before spin jumping to catch them. You can't spin jump when you have an item in your hands. And once I throw one of the blocks, it bounces off the corner and I can spin jump off of it. I have to jump wide around this last block on the left. There's a hidden block that would stop me. And there is actually a timer up in the top right corner of the screen, so I can't stand around and wait.
Wow!
This is the boss of House of the Undying. There are 4 stationary Resnors at the top that are shooting fireballs at me. The only way I can reach the note block that's underneath them to hurt them is by bouncing off of this throw block on the bottom. Each of these Resnors need to be hit 3 times to get rid of them, and I've only got 40 seconds to do it in. So really there's no time to waste.
Hey! I panicked.
This is the Irie, the cape level from Grand Poo World 2.
It was against my better judgment, but I started trying to go under the saw, and midway through, I remembered I cannot make that work without speeding up, and I don't want to speed up there. Good speed. Hey, there we go. In the pipe, yes.
This level ends up using the cape in pretty much every way possible in Super Mario World. This room is mostly focused on the slow fall aspect of cape and the options that it gives you for platforming. When you land on a disco shell, it kicks you off in the direction you touched it from. We're baiting each of these thwomps into falling down and then bouncing off of them after they've fallen. There's some spikes here that I need to dodge, and I had to fast fall down to get to the ball and chain.
Hey! Much better.
This is a vertical room that's just filled with spikes. I need to spin fly up here. Spin flight allows me to regain P speed and take off again after I land. I've then transitioned to normal cape flight. You maintain cape flight by holding down the run button. I can tap the second run button to turn around as I'm still flying. I regain P speed as I'm running up the wall from that triangle block. This lets me take off in a cape flight state, which I don't lose if I grab onto a net. I still have cape flight as I'm carrying this P switch.
Yes!
This is another pretty straightforward room. I actually don't get cape flight at all here. There's a kaizo block above this Goomba, so I had to swing around the edge there. I'm basically just using the cape to slow fall to get through this platforming section. I have a lot of control over when I get to go, but with these turn blocks I have to spin off of, I need to go through as fast as possible. The cape shell jump is pretty easy, dodging the saws is a little harder.
Hey, that was quick.
I had to cape that Koopa while I was falling to get a shell to shell jump off of. I'm constantly falling down in this room. I hit that turn block to drop the Bowser statue. I land on him and then change to a spin jump to bounce off the saw. I'm also going to hit down this Bowser statue, and I use him to change over to a normal jump. That lets me bounce off of these Koopas. Once I get past these spikes here, I just need to fall at full speed, and I'm going to get onto Yoshi's back. I throw him in the pit, and I need to be careful with the ropes because if I move too fast, I'll fall through them.
In there.
This is Idle Hands. Throughout this level, we have those blocks that look like clocks. What those do is they temporarily suspend any sprites. So I'm waiting for the shell to get in the right spot. I stop it and then jump off of it. These platforms have to be at a very specific height for me to be able to use them at all. And here we have another way for me to spin jump off of a throw block. The last clock is broken and does nothing.
Hey, in the door. Intentional delay and I'm still too fast for it.
When Mario touches the clock blocks, it stops all sprites from moving. Yoshi gets to survive for about half a second longer than he normally would. That spring is just barely still loaded in. The clock actually makes shell jumping harder because I don't have muscle memory like I do with a regular shell jump. My goal with the falling spiny eggs is to get the top one to stop right next to the spike. And this platform needs to be stopped in a very precise spot.
Hey, in the door.
This is the boss fight from Idle Hands. You are given 35 seconds to take out 5 Resnors. It's too high to reach the platform that the Resnors are on just by jumping, so you have to spin jump off of the stopped throw blocks. You'd be crazy to jump on the spikes because the timer keeps counting for 4 seconds after you defeat the final Resnor.
Well, that was fast. God, that was hard. That was really hard.
This is Fraternal Fortress, the least played level from Grand Poo World 2.
I'm amazed that anybody was ever able to solve this puzzle. It's ridiculous.
On top of having difficult platforming sections, Grand Poo World 2 is also a giant escape room style puzzle. This level isn't played in speedruns because it just gives you a solution.
Somebody like Thab? Because Thab played this when it first came out. Thab loves Mario. Thab hates puzzles. Drop-down box that had all the different numbers that you could select for the volume. Hey, there we go.
Even though I knew the answers, I spent some time solving the puzzle for myself.
I spent a little bit longer on those than I expected. Had a really good time with them, though. Bad choice.
This is the first room of the Thousand Halls, the final level from Grand Poo World 2. Every time you play this level, you are going to play through this room. All of the other rooms are optional except for the final one. We didn't see it in the beginning, but there's a key door off to the left, so I had to come over to the right to grab the key and then bring it back all the way.
Well, that was pure luck. Alright. I kind of feel like I should have died to that saw.
This is the first fire room from the Thousand Halls. I have to keep pace with that platform below me, which moves just a tiny bit slower than Mario's normal running speed.
I love the Zelda 2 doors.
You can't spin jump while you're holding an item, so I throw the key first and then spin jump over top of the saw.
Alright, in the pipe.
This is the dolphin room from the Thousand Halls. The dolphins are safe to stand on as they cycle up and down, but the pufferfish will hurt you if you step on them. There's nowhere that's safe to stand and wait, so you just have to keep going forward. We can't spin jump directly with a key. We have to damage boost here to get to the door in time.
Oh, in the door. Just throwing the key to hit the block is hard enough.
With this fireball on the bottom, I need to keep up with it through the entire level. I have to slow down here to hit the block under the Bowser statue to let it fall. That let the fireball get really far ahead, and I had to get P-speed to catch up to it.
Oh, thank God I got in that door. Whew. Oh no, oh no. I thought I was safe.
This is the vine room from the Thousand Halls. Once I've hit that vine at the beginning, I can't stop moving. I'm chasing it up all the way to the top to get to that final door. Vines can be a little difficult in Mario World. If you're holding up as you try to jump off of the vine, you just stick to it. And I'm actually dodging some hidden blocks that are on those ropes. Here, I take my revenge against the shell.
Fuck off, Shell. Jeez.
We haven't really seen very many shell tricks through this whole hack. This is about the most use of shells that you'll see. These shells are pretty free.
I actually am very proud of my great Jorb emote. Oh, thank God that fish didn't hit me. I feel like I need to fundamentally change how I approach the ground pound, because it keeps hitting me.
This is Bowser. It takes 8 hits to defeat Bowser. The most important thing for me to do is avoid taking damage.
Like, maybe I should be trying to keep something in my hand so I can hit him in the air while he's pounding?
With some attacks, Bowser gives me either throw blocks or shells. Those are the only way that I can hurt him. He changes phase at 3 and 5 hits, becoming more difficult. This is why I'm trying to do double hits on him. He spends less time in his more difficult phases.
5.
And I've actually lost count of how many times I've hit him. Now that he's in his 3rd phase, he drops those fireballs down from the ceiling. That makes every one of his attacks harder to dodge.
Well, I guess that works, doesn't it? Hell yes!
This is the escape. After you've defeated Bowser, you have to leave the castle as it's sinking down into the lava. There was actually a hidden block just above that saw I avoided. There's a door up above me to the left. I need to open it with the key. You can't directly spin jump while you're holding an item, so I throw it up in the air, catch it, and bounce off the thwomp. A lot of this is just pretty basic platforming, but with the rising lava, you're under a tight timer. We need to bounce our way up here to get up to the next door to the right. And once we get to the top right section here, we're in the home stretch.
Come on, Yoshi. Got it. You'll find that this is my mushroom. Yeet!
It's over!